Hey guys, thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Joel Wiesner, of this episode of What's Up Weekly. We have a very exciting show today planned for you. We're joined again by Arden Tillman. She was last week busily working away on the proposal for Wild Waters. Real quick, before we get started, we've got a couple short videos to show you. This past weekend, we were in Palatka for the Blue Crab Festival. Here's a quick video.
Memorial Day weekend in Florida is always an eventful one. This year certainly was no different. This past weekend, we were out on location at the 26th Annual Blue Crab Festival in downtown Palatka. This festival was fun for the whole family, with live music, the kids' zone, arts and crafts, and a seafood cook-off. The festival spanned 4 days, starting Friday, May 23rd, and ending on Monday, the 26th. The final day of the festival featured the annual Memorial Day Parade and was followed by a special ceremony to honor fallen service men and women.
We hope you enjoyed that video. Real quick, we have another one for you. It is the Mud Run at the Florida Horse Park.
This weekend, we also headed out to the Florida Horse Park for the Mud Run, where local competitors dashed to the finish line through a challenging 5K mud run with 18 plus obstacles, mud pits, cargo nets, and lots of mud. The first wave took off at 8 a.m. with different waves being released every hour.
We hope you enjoyed that video. Real quick, we have another one for you from the BG Spring Festival right next to the Florida Horse Park. Here it is.
While everyone was getting money next door, we took a break and headed over to the BG Spring Festival at the BG Equestrian Resort. When we arrived, the line to get your face painted was out the door. Parents and children beat the heat by escaping into the petting zoo, where everyone was able to pet donkeys, goats, pigs, bunnies, and miniature zeeboos.
So that's what we're up to this past weekend. Upcoming next weekend, Emerging Leaders of Ocala Masquerade Ball is at Golden Ocala. The event kicks off at 7 p.m. and is free to attend. Masks are not required, but we definitely encourage you to bring one. If you're interested in meeting other young professionals in Ocala, this is the perfect opportunity. So this Saturday at 5 p.m. is the Wine and Tapas event in downtown Ocala. Wine and Tapas is much like the successful downtown pub crawls that were earlier this year. For $30, you get a splash of wine, selected specially to go with appetizer-sized tapas at 8 of the downtown eateries. So be sure to come out this weekend and have some fun with us. So real quick, after this commercial break, we're going to hear from Arden Tillman, the president and CEO of Silver Springs Management. She actually has some very exciting news for us. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Arden Tillman, President and CEO of Silver Springs Management. And as Joel mentioned, I have some very exciting news. We are pleased to announce that we've been selected as the official concessionaire for Wild Waters Water Park. Woo-hoo. Yeah, woo, happy dance! Yeah, we're very excited, very excited. Cool. So we anticipate that the park will be open in early June, and there's a lot of renovation and construction going on right now. Yep. You might even be able to hear some of the noise of the construction that's happening. Our partners at the Department of Environmental Protection are working diligently, literally night and day, to get the park rejuvenated, revive it, renovate it, really clean it up and give it a shiny new face. And then we're going to step on in and open it up as soon as we can.
So I know a lot of people are wondering when the park might open.
Yep.
I'm sure that's dependent on construction and how late through the nights they do work, and how big the crew is over there and whatnot. But do you have a proposed opening date that might happen?
Sure. Yeah. Now, our partners at the DEP have stated that June 6th is their target date for opening. However, I do like to be very clear with anybody who's listening in that the two main priorities of Wild Waters is that the property is going to be quality and it's going to be safe.
Right.
So there's quite a bit of work being done over there, and everyone is working as hard as they can to meet the target date. But in order to make sure that we're offering a safe and quality product, if we need to extend that by a few days, we will, and we'll be sure to keep everybody updated. Currently, we're offering those updates on www.silversprings.com,
Cool.
and coming shortly, Wild Waters will have its own URL. So keep checking in, and you'll be able to find out what the greatest and latest news is.
And that's just wildwaters.com?
Well, our partners at the DEP are going to be offering that URL to us. They're currently in possession of it, so I'm not quite sure which one they're going to have up and live, but head on over to the Silver Springs website, and it'll be posted as soon as it's available.
Excellent. What's the pricing going to be?
Well, it's a great question, and some of the information that is going to be included in that decision-making process is what phases of the park are going to be opened on the initial opening date. Now, a lot of that renovation and construction are large projects. They're ongoing. So in order to get the park open this season, as the community asked for, a great celebration, by the way. Everybody who helped, congratulations, thank you very much. It's because of you that the park is going to open this year.
That's right.
But it is going to open in phases. So depending on what is available on the grand opening day will determine the price. We know the price point will be under $20 for adults and children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So Arden, what about the hiring process? I can imagine this is going to employ a lot of people. So
Yes.
How many people do you anticipate hiring, and how's that process going to go?
We anticipate by the end of the park coming to completion, being fully opened, we'll have 60 or more jobs that this park is going to create in the community.
Cool.
We're honored to be the custodians. We love hiring people. We love creating jobs, so we're very happy about that. And the hiring process right now is very straightforward. As you can imagine, it's very fast. We have an email address, www.careers@silversprings.com, that we're accepting resumes to. Now, we've also had quite a few folks drop by and leave their resume here in the park at the front gate or at one of our ticket booths, and we're happy to accept those resumes as well. We are doing it as quickly as we can, so we're reviewing them, categorizing them into relevant fields of employment that we need, and we're calling and scheduling those interviews daily.
Now, Arden, as far as, are there a suggested age for the children that come into the park that you would suggest?
Sure, I suggest the park to everybody. One of the great things about Wild Waters is that there are very distinct areas for different age groups, all the way from very, very young children, I mean toddlers, all the way up to rides for young adults and those young at heart. So some bigger slides that will be open throughout the summer, but we also have the Tadpool area and the Cool Kids Cove, which are very appropriate for young children. Yep, and those areas will be monitored so that parents can feel comfortable when they go into those areas with their kids. They're going to be with other children their ages, not necessarily having to, fight for their space with some older or bigger kids. Right. So we're trying to make the park as family friendly as we possibly can, and all ages are welcome.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
One of the things last year that we saw was a lot of people coming in for private parties and stuff like that. Is there still an opportunity for people to rent event space?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just like we offer here at Silver Springs State Park, we will also offer private events, social gatherings, corporate parties, summer nights parties over at Wild Waters. It is set up for night events. It's beautiful at night when the lights are on. So if you want to come out and have a late night pool party or just have a unique environment to hold your corporate event or birthday party, give us a call.
For sure. That'd be a good thing for young professionals of Ocala to come have a pool party.
I couldn't agree more.
That would be great, wouldn't
See
it?
that coming.
For sure. When we come back after this break, we'll hear from Nick Robinson. Nick's going to give us an update on a local project, a renovation that's going on in one of the buildings here in town. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, this is Nick Robinson. I'm a real estate advisor with Coldwell Banker Commercial, and I'm hosting the business and political segment here for the show. And today what we're going to talk about is a new construction and renovation project that we have going on in the city. And that is actually what used to be called the Old Rock Versity Building, which is just off of South Pine Avenue, right across from Fiorio's Cafe in Ocala near downtown. And that project is actually going to be the new home of What's Up Media Group and the home of our TV show here. We hope to have that coming along in about 12 weeks. And so the construction project itself is doing an interior renovation on it. We're going to have a full-fledged studio. We're going to have some office space, obviously, for the staff here. And it'll be done in about 12 to 13 weeks. And when we get it complete, it'll be a beautiful-looking building in a prime location. And I'm very proud to be a part of that, as sort of coordinating some of the construction on behalf of the owner of the property. The interior build-out and exterior renovation is going to be GC'd by Mike Etheridge of Etheridge Construction. They are our builder. They were the winning bidder. And the architectural design portion of it is being done by our good friend Dee Dee Taylor Eustace of Taylor Hanna Architects Incorporated, based out of Toronto and New York City. So we're very excited to have this project coming up, and it's good to see construction and good to start to see hard hats on job sites and trucks out there and dumpsters. And you know, Ocala had done a lot of major development over the last decade, but for the last 6 or 7 years, as the downturn and the economy started to happen and really take a foothold, we hadn't seen a lot of development, and we're finally starting to see some of that coming online. So I'm very happy, very proud to be a part of it, and we're pretty sure that it's going to be a great new home for What's Up Media.
Well, we're excited. Nick, what can we do to speed the project along?
Well,
maybe like 8 weeks you could get it done or something.
It's actually, believe it or not, now that we've got the permitting and everything, it's happening very, very rapidly.
Cool.
We've had all the demo crews out there over the last week, and they basically are completely done with the demoing of the inside and whatever portions on the outside they need to be done. Electricians are actually in there, as a matter of fact, as we speak, and they're running overhead lights. They're running lights that are going to be used for the studio itself, as well as some of the other lighting and the anything electrical that's being done. We've got plumbers coming in next, and we're rocking and rolling.
Are they doing the soundproofing over there too right now? Is that something that's happening?
Not at the moment. That will be done shortly. Actually, the roof itself already has some soundproofing inside. The way they build these is through a membrane system. So you have the roof structure on the top, then you have your insulation in between, and then you have your actual metal portion of the bottom part of the membrane. Because the studio, we're designing it not like an office space, but we're actually designing it to be like a real life studio. So we've got ground to ceiling is completely exposed. So we can have all of our lighting that we see here, and you guys of course can't see it, but back behind us we have lighting and everything that blinds us, and we can't even hardly see sometimes. But it's needed, obviously, to put on a production studio.
And some AC.
And some air conditioning, that's right.
That would be
We
nice.
love it out here on the back end of Silver Springs with the beautiful backdrop, but in the summertime it does get warm, so it'll be in a very controlled environment. It'll be in an environment where sound is something that we can control all the time, and as much as we like it out here, it's going to really be a state-of-the-art facility, and really it's about the only privately controlled state-of-the-art facility like this that we have in the area.
Yeah, I think it is one of the first here that'll be up and running in Ocala.
Absolutely.
So we're definitely looking for anybody that wants to help participate in it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, so Nick, you've been telling us about a couple different projects around town in the last few weeks, obviously this being one of them. Do you think that's an ongoing trend and something it's exciting to see this growth in the community? I mean, in your opinion, is that going to continue? What can we look forward to?
Absolutely, it's going to continue. There's a number of construction projects being, in the development and planning stages today. Obviously, a few weeks ago, we told you about the former Ashley Farms, which will be Trilogy at Ocala Preserve. Also, the next couple of episodes, I'll be bringing you some more development downtown. We have a development project that actually my agency is sort of handling. We're representing the landlord on the back of Concord Square and Concord Plaza there, and they're going to do a complete renovation of the back end of that, and we'll probably bring you more, I'm sure. And not only that, but the Field Downtown campaign has really kick-started a lot of investment by the business owners and shop owners in the downtown area. Market Street out at Heathbrook has been sold, as a lot of you probably have read about in the paper, about a year ago, and they're rocking and rolling on getting new tenants in those spaces out there and anchoring some space. And so finally we're starting to really see things start to come back. Unemployment has dropped. Vacancy in all the different asset classes of commercial real estate, we're starting to see decline. So it's really great what's happening now, and it's just sort of a steamroll effect. The larger markets tend to start to rebound first, and then after that, as investors get pushed out of that marketplace due to competition, they start to come into smaller markets like Ocala and Gainesville and Lake City and Leesburg, and that's just kind of how it happens all around the state.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose that brings back the hiring of people here in our community. So do you anticipate a lot of people being hired now that new businesses are starting to pop up?
Well,
everywhere?
we certainly hope so. I mean, in most of those cases, obviously the CEP, the Chamber for Economic Partnership, in conjunction with the County Commission and with the City Council of Ocala, are working hard to get quality jobs in here. Online, and the groundbreaking with the one of the roadways out there coming into it, that was this week, and they're getting closer and closer to starting their actual construction efforts there. And once that's done being built, that'll be at least a couple of hundred jobs and possibly more. And there's even some talk of some other possible distribution companies and major retailers that are looking at the Ocala space, including a couple of major grocery chains that are going to be adding on. So that's going to also have an effect on unemployment. Some of those will be, lower to medium wages, but some of those will also be higher paying and higher wage jobs.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting, Nick. Well, I really appreciate some of that information. I know we're excited here at What's Up Media to have a new home. We love it here at Silver Springs, and we'll still continue to do segments and sequences. When we come back after this break, we will hear from Katrina Gansler, the Director of Business Development at United Way. We'll be right back. What's up, Florida? Join us as we road trip around the Sunshine State to take a look at the events, attractions, and natural wonders that make this state what it is.
Hey guys, this is Katrina Gansler, United Way of Marion County's Director of Business Development. This week I want to talk to you about Hospice of Marion County. It's a great organization. Some things that we all have in common are birth and death, and they do a very special thing. They actually assist people in the end times of their life, which is really hard to do sometimes. So it's a great way to give people dignity back when they are transitioning.
So I'm sure a lot of families would depend on some of the services that hospice offers.
Absolutely. There's a lot of times people are sick, and you have to sometimes do the sponge baths or kind of do some things that takes away your dignity. So having a hospice nurse to come in and take care of you, not only do you gain your dignity back, but you get to be around your friends and your family in the comfort of your home.
Right.
If you read my article, I kind of talked a little bit about my grandpa. He was a great man, and he was in the hospital, and he knew it was the end. He just said, just take me home. And so the way he left, to me, inspired me to really support hospice and the people that also help with it.
Now, they not only come into your home, but they also do have some facilities that people do visit.
They do.
And live out their times.
Exactly. You could go to one of their facilities if they don't want to be home. And that's the great part. I mean, I think I read most people do prefer, if they do pass away, to go in the comfort of their own home or
Right.
facility. So, but most of them are at the hospital, and it's not pleasant sometimes. So, being able to have that there and go to a home if you choose that, or your own home, is much better. And sometimes they do prefer to be in the hospital, so they have that as well.
And how's the hospice funded? I mean, I'm very new to some of this stuff, but do the families, does insurance provide for some of that? Is it funded through nonprofits? How does it work?
It's a little bit of a combination of things. They go out, I'm sure that there are some grants that help with the funding. They have a board, just like we do at United Way, and they go out and have fundraisers.
Okay.
They actually just raised $26,000 on May 17th.
Wow.
Yes, it was the Frank Polak run, and it was great. So there's ways to do that as well, but they try to make it as easy as possible for the family. I don't think they want to turn anybody away and say, no, we can't help you.
Right.
So.
Now, from what I understand, when hospice comes in to provide care for an individual, part of their approach is not just the individual, but the whole family.
Absolutely.
I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that? You
Yes.
experienced it with your grandfather.
I did, and the great thing, they do take care of the patient who's there, but at the same time, they do take care of your family. And when my grandpa and my grandma as well were in hospice, the nurse, I actually asked him to call me, and my grandpa grew up in France, and the last nurse he had before he passed also grew up in France. So they were able to conversate back and forth and really had a fun relationship. And interesting part, I guess, which he told me is he sees a lot of times if people speak a different language and then learn a couple of different other languages throughout their life, usually at the end they only speak in the language that was their first language. So I thought that was neat.
Wow, that's
And,
interesting.
3 a.m. I got a phone call, and it was him, and he was there for me. Next day, somebody else came and talked to our whole family about how we felt. It really helps with the grieving process. You know, in my opinion, I think when you leave, you just kind of enter a new bus, so to speak. So it might not be hard for the person passing, but what's left behind is the grief from the family. So hospice, having skilled people to come in and help with that, makes all the difference in the world.
So Katrina, are there ways to volunteer at the hospice?
Absolutely. There's a ton of different ways to volunteer. An interesting thing, you could actually volunteer your pet, because sometimes if people are, at the end and they're not very happy, you could have a pet, and it's very, the compassion that you get. Everybody knows your little cat or dog is the world. So you could do that and volunteer your pet. You could actually go and help if that's something you want to talk to somebody, help with the grieving, depending on your skill set, and fundraising. They always need some help fundraising.
Absolutely.
Well, that's interesting to hear about a lot of that stuff.
It's great. They actually have another event coming up. It's June 7th. It's going to be 7 to 10. And if you want some more information, visit their website at Hospice of Marion County. And it's a great, great way to give back to them. They are so involved with United Way, so involved in just the community. So if you could help out and go have some fun at their luau June 10th, make sure to do so. Tickets are $25.
And where was it at? Do you know?
It is at, let me see right here, the St. Mark's Methodist Church. So if you want more information, call 425-0500.
Support your local hospice. They do a lot of really good work.
You never know if you're going to need it. So.
Absolutely. Well, we hope we don't need it anytime soon, at least
I
to us.
hope
We're
not.
young enough to visit. Real quick, when we come back from this segment, we'll hear from Julie Annette, the president and CEO of Horse and Pet Inc. We'll be right back.
Tonight, we welcome a new generation of Porsche dreamers who will discover we passionately believe that every car should be a sports car. Now let me introduce you to the new 2015 Porsche Macan. When you see that coming behind you, you recognize it's a Porsche. Underneath the hood, you have 400 horsepower. 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. Track speed of 164 miles an hour. And the new 2015 Porsche Macan.
Hi, I'm Julie Annette, host of Horse and Pet News. Today I'm going to give you a little update on what's going on at the Florida Horse Park. The Florida Horse Park was created in 1996 by the state of Florida. In May of 2013, they were issued a $2 million grant by Governor Rick Scott. That grant was used for the creation of a new indoor riding arena that will open, rumor has it, of July of 2014. Another rumor you may have heard that is not yet confirmed is that there is an additional $2 million grant in the works for the completion of the Florida Horse Park. This would include many different things for the community. When completed, it is estimated to bring over $75 million to the economy.
So Julie, what type of activities can we do over at the horse park now, and what are we going to be able to anticipate being done when it's completed?
Well, actually, there's so many different events going on there. What's Up Ocala was there this past weekend for the iMud Run. Not only do they host local, national, and international equestrian events for equestrians all over the world, they also have hundreds of miles of trails that wind around the Florida Greenway.
Okay. Wow. Excellent.
So with all of this expansion and development happening in such a large facility, what is that additional grant money going to be used for?
Well, actually, they're anticipating the construction of 800 to 1,000 more stalls.
Wow. 300
RV and camping spots, and 8 new show arenas, and they're going to have air conditioning seating for up to 3,000 people.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
So Julie, you mentioned they're getting a lot of new horse stalls. 1,000, you said, I think?
Somewhere between 800 and 1,000 stalls are going to be built.
That's huge. So Arden, you're from the horse industry with Arabian
Yeah.
Nights and stuff.
Yep,
so what
sure
type
am.
of events will that bring in? I mean, now you could...
Well, you know, with a property the size of the Florida Horse Park and with that many accommodations for horses, I mean, there are huge events that you could hold. There are certain breed registries whose national championship shows might not draw 1,000 horses. Of course, there are plenty breed registries that would, but I mean, it opens the doors for hundreds of different types of events. I mean, it's not hard to imagine how they would estimate such a large economic impact, because the ability to draw in equine events of that scope and scale is just incredible.
And it's conveniently located, and our
Yeah.
great Florida weather is going to draw more here.
And
Yeah.
we're talking about people from all over the country and the world that will
Absolutely.
come to these events. I mean, we're
Absolutely.
talking 500 acres of a horse park that, you know, I mean, I've said it before, I think that we can do so much more in this community, in the horse industry itself, and we hadn't quite got to that point yet. But when you look at things in the future, and you look at what some of the areas in California are doing in the horse industry that are famous for that area, down south even, they have horse tracks, race tracks. You know, we don't have anything like that, and I think that maybe down the road in the future.
Well, it's not only going to be available for the equine industry. A lot of canine and weddings and other events will be done there as well.
Sort of a multi-use recreational facility for everybody.
And it backs up to the Greenway too, which we mentioned earlier. But I mean, that crosses the whole Florida, the whole state of Florida. So there's trail riding,
you can do fun runs, you can do bike riding or cycling runs, and have competitions, and everything could sort of either all meet at the same time there, or they could start or they could finish each event in a location like that if you're going to use the Greenway.
And you know, this seems like a pattern with everything we talked about this episode. Economic growth. How many jobs do you think we're going to
Over
be able
1,200 jobs.
Over 1,200.
Anything from security to marketing.
That's incredible.
Some part-time, some full-time too, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Even maintenance, construction, all these jobs are going to come into play.
Wow.
Now, do they anticipate that will be 1,200 jobs directly at the horse park, or in the industry as a whole, you know, the city as a whole? Are they going to be there at the park or throughout the entire community?
I think throughout the entire community.
Yeah, I would think
that's
it'd be
impressive.
to the community.
Yes, the ripple effects and the benefits of that expansion are just, I mean,
And not
easy
to mention
to see.
that it's going to help small bususes in the area and so forth
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely.
And it'll help
And they
your
are
magazine.
looking, absolutely.
Horse and Pet.
Horse and Pet. Horse and Pet will be there.
Very good.
Big things are happening.
Things are happening.
Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in to this show, our third episode of What's Up Weekly. Be sure to come out to ELO's Masquerade Ball this weekend and visit whatsupocala.com for a list of other upcoming events and things that you can do. From all of us here with What's Up Weekly, we really appreciate you, and be looking for us next week, same time, same place. Thanks.
Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.